Good morning, everyone. Appreciate the invite from 3AI. First of all, congratulations on the 5th anniversary. I think that's a great accomplishment. I see a room full of people with accomplished leaders in this room, so that's a testament to the 5 years of journey, so congratulations again. Great start to the morning this morning with Samir kicking it off with a lot of statistics on how AI and Gen AI is shaping the world. And a lot of enthusiasm, interest, and mostly energy that has just flown into this room like crazy this morning, followed by Sanjay, who actually drove some really good points around the value creation. And as we think about value, how do we put the human angle to that whole thing? So even if it is not on my KPI, I'll put that on, Sanjay. Thanks for the nudge there. So appreciate the time, and now we will kind of, with the great segues this morning, get into a little bit of talking about prep as we look to learn to ride the wave. How do we prep for it and always stay prepped in terms of riding the wave, I guess, is what strategy building and keeping it agile and nimble and be ready for a wave that comes to you at any given point in time is. So I know it's a room full of leaders here, and so I'll talk about my experiences mostly, and maybe we'll exchange some ideas over the break and stuff. So as I think through strategy, when I started taking some of these strategic roles in my career, people, always first question that they ask is, what's the digital strategy? And when Samir asked me to talk about this topic, I really kind of started thinking through, okay, what went through my mind in terms of curating some of those strategies, if you will. And, talking about digital strategy, what is a digital strategy? How do you formulate a digital strategy for an organization or a company or an enterprise, right? And then I got to think about it and said, there isn't one. There isn't a digital strategy, especially when you're working for an enterprise, mainly because it's no different from your business strategy. So first thing I told myself is I really need to understand where this company is going, where we are today, what are some of the outcomes that the company is aspiring for in order to meet the vision. And then think about where does digital play, right? Because again, the strategy should be no different from what the business strategy is. So I said, when we're talking about making a digital strategy, it's really the business strategy in a black box. Add 3 words, accelerate, and through digital, right? And Samir kind of talked about it this morning on when we say digital, when we say AI, Gen AI, all of these come into play. Data, analytics, automation, everything comes into play, so digital. So accelerating your business strategy through digital is really the digital strategy in a very simplistic way. So we then started thinking through the topic and we said, how about digital technology strategy, right? Yes, now we're talking about how you kind of create the technology or the digital technology strategy in a way that it really accelerates the business strategy. So the building blocks really in terms of how you formulate that overall digital technology strategy really starts with that business imperative and the outcomes that we want to accomplish. So you build your tech stack and your technology platform. Again, Samir touched upon it, is if you don't have the foundation right, it's very easy to fail, right? So it's very important. We don't talk about it much because we only talk about the outcomes, but you don't get those outcomes unless you have a robust foundational technology, digital technology strategy. So you look at where the company is going, you look at where we are today, you look at the technology stack, and when you start to map this out, you will start to find that there are gaps and there are opportunities. And we as technology leaders are always bombarded with new trends. I mean, you name it, right? You keep getting at least 3 or 4 in your inbox every single day on, hey, these are the new trends, these are trending, this is going to disrupt, this is going to happen. You have to be at the forefront of knowing all that, but really contextualizing that to what makes sense for your digital business strategy is at most important. So when you map these things out, and when you kind of look at all these tech trends and contextualize that and say, where does it fit? And also, in a way, you accelerate that, so you leverage the outcomes of that is extremely important. So as you build that out, so we talked about digital strategy, we talked about technology. The foundation that we're talking about, as you build the tech stack, you also have to lay out the infrastructure, security, and resilience piece, because these are going to be trending all the time. Resilience is so important, especially in this day and age, where cybersecurity is, up there, and AI, Gen AI, even disrupting cybersecurity is something that is so important that one disruption in a negative way can actually bring down a lot of these things. So building that resilience architecture, underlying that foundation, is paramount to enabling that, right? Innovation and culture, we talked about it quite a bit. Technology alone cannot do it. You can have the best strategy, best technology stack, but if you are not continuously innovating, and Sanjay touched upon this a bit, is innovation is not just about throwing away what you have and bringing something new. It's also about thinking about how you do what you do in a very different way. And oh, by the way, if you can lay the technology aspect in terms of using AI and Gen AI, how do you accelerate that and bring in innovation into what you already do is very important. So building that cultural aspect around people and how we bring together cross-functional expertise to co-innovate and co-create is very important, right? Value chain digitalization. We talked about data, we talked about analytics. None of this can happen if you don't have a really good, solid, robust data cohort. So there are two opportunities when we talk about digital strategy. One is around the transactional automation that you can bring through your value chain. The entire value chain, you bring about the automation, but as you do that, you also build a really good, robust data cohort that can then help us with data analytics and evidence-based decision-making. So you drive your organization towards an intelligence-driven organization, right? This is what AI can do for you. Put Gen AI on top of it, now we're really talking, right? So in a way to sum it up, I see the 8 minutes go by very fast, which is actually good. But then just to kind of sum it up, we talked about strategy, we talked about technology, we talked about resilience, we talked about innovation and culture, we talked about value chain digitalization, and we talked about evidence-based decision-making and intelligence-driven organization. Kind of an acronym that you can maybe remember is STRIVE, is talking about S for strategy, T for technology, R for resilience, I for innovation and culture, V for value chain digitalization, and E for evidence-based decision-making. So thank you very much. It was a very fast 8 minutes. Loved the way this whole went, but I see a lot of silence in the audience. I don't know if that meant that it was very well understood or there are a lot of questions, but I'm happy to hang out. I'm going to be here the entire day and hopefully trigger some conversation. Thank you.